Hey guys, RanterInShades here, excited my first to memorize vlog style. Now, I listen to a lot of music, as you guys know, a lot more music than one can typically handle, and like most people in the world, I have some guilty pleasures. This video is going to go over my 10 biggest guilty pleasures. Songs that once you find out I enjoy, you might go, "Nigga, what?" Hopefully this doesn't embarrass me too much, but who knows, maybe we can have a conversation in the comments about these. Let's begin. Oh boy, I'm regretting this already. Before we start, I'm gonna give one honorable mention to Limp Bizkit, specifically with their song Nookie. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Limp Bizkit, but I've never really hated them. As far as bands go, Limp Bizkit have always been my biggest guilty pleasure, along with a few ICP songs I enjoy. But this list isn't about bands, it's about songs. Limp Bizkit's first 3 albums are pretty decent for nu metal releases, and I do get a kick, as well as a chuckle or two, listening to songs like Nookie, Rollin', Hot Dog, Break Stuff, and others. But Nookie in particular is a guilty pleasure of mine since, apart from the instrumentation being pretty spot on, the lyrics are so goddamn pathetic it's hilarious. Fred Durst is basically whining about a girl cheating on him, saying a bunch of times, and then saying something about a cookie and how the girl's supposed to stick it up your yeah! It's like, what the fuck? I like making fun of the song and Fred Durst, and if you remember the review Muse made of Nookie before Blip went belly up, you'd understand why.
This girl had the nerve to bake Fred Durst a giant cookie. And he turned to that girl, that trifling hoe, and told her to stick it up her yeah. Stick it up her yeah. Stick it up her yeah. This is the album version of the song. Why can't you say ass?
So Limp Bizkit serve as an honorable mention. On to the top 10. Number 10.
Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly.
Everytime We Touch by Cascada was a song I always got a good bit excited listening to in middle school. It's really catchy, and honestly, Cascada doesn't have a bad voice either. And I like that little synth solo thing also. The lyrics are pretty simplistic, I'll give it that, but I've never really had a problem with the song. There's not really much else to say about the song, hence why it's so low on the list, but let's move on. Number 9.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
This Is Why I'm Hot came out when I was in 7th grade, and even at that age, I knew this wasn't a song to take seriously. It really is more of a novelty song, which is why I don't exactly hate it. It's a lot like what I said about Turn Down for What in my Best of 2014 list. Despite thinking the lyrics were really cheesy, I thought the beat and the hook were pretty catchy, and the lyrics, for whatever reason, made me laugh. Brag songs tend to do that with me, I guess. Number 8. Crazy Frog's cover of Axel F was another song that was really big around the time I was in middle school. Crazy Frog is essentially another artist that is not meant to be taken seriously, given that all they do is make pop covers of other people's songs with the Crazy Frog making his cute little bing bing noises. My little brother thought he was the most hilarious thing around at the time, but I never saw much of an appeal in Crazy Frog. The cover of one of the most 80s sounding songs of all time, Harold Faltermeyer's Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop, is what Crazy Frog is best known for. And honestly, it's quite catchy, and it does have a creative twist that differentiates it from the original. So while I can't really say I care much for Crazy Frog, this song is pretty enjoyable, though I do prefer the original over this at the end of the day. Also, how can I not laugh at that? Number 7.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Yes, indeed, I was one of those guys that actually enjoyed Gangnam Style when it came out back in 2012. It was strange, it was weird, but it was also catchy. Normally I don't listen to much music that isn't in English aside from One OK Rock, Maximum the Hormone, Rammstein, X Japan, Rata Blanca, and a few others that are able to hold my attention with their music, but Gangnam Style just puts me in too good of a mood to care. It's fun and upbeat, and I'm able to take it for what it is. Everyone was doing the Gangnam Style dance and playing it everywhere back during my freshman year of college, and I honestly did not object. There was much worse music out at the time, so Gangnam Style with its really silly ass music video really gave me a nice break from it all. Unfortunately, Psy wasn't able to have as big of hits after Gangnam Style. His follow-up single, Gentleman, basically copied the Gangnam Style formula, so this would really make or break Psy's career, but it didn't go on to become as well received as Gangnam Style did, which is really a shame in my opinion. I hate seeing artists with so much promise fall from grace like this. Breaks my heart. I know what'll cheer me up. CS188. Yeah!
Welcome Gangnam Style.
Number 6. I'll admit right now to enjoying some Avril Lavigne. I like Complicated, I like Skater Boy, but now here's Avril jumping on the pop punk trend that was really big in 2007 with Girlfriend. Compared to a lot of other pop singles, especially at the time, this one rocks. I remember going to a lot of my friends' bar mitzvah parties around the time this song was big, and it always seemed so strange that this song was being played. I mean, it sounded nothing like the rest of the crap that was being played.
Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy? That Superman? That why me?
And because of that, hearing this song was a breath of fresh air, and it would always put me in a good mood. Most of the time when people aren't bashing Avril Lavigne for her song Hello Kitty, they're bashing her for Girlfriend and how corny the lyrics are. Honestly, I just see it as a catchy pop rock song with an interesting guitar sound for a pop song. So, although I prefer Complicated over everything she's ever done, I don't mind Girlfriend. Number 5. Now we got something older. Most people when they talk about 80s music will always talk about how much Wham sucked, how they looked gay, how they hated George Michael's voice, etc. But honestly, Wake Me Up Before You Go, it's one of the catchiest fucking songs ever. It's really a fun song with an interesting sound to it, and it always puts me in a good mood whenever I listen to it. Wham have some other decent songs, but they don't put me in as jumpy of a mood as Wake Me Up Before You Go. So with that in mind, I don't dislike Wham. They are a pretty quintessential 80s band, but this is coming from a guy with a Poison poster in the background. I clearly care. Number 4.
You are my fire, the one desire.
I'm not one to really have much of a care for the 90s, 2000s boy bands. They were never something I really objected to at the time, given that I was a young kid whose only care in the world was watching all the Hey Arnold and Rugrats that I could. Nor are they something I pretend to have very strong opinions against by saying, God damn, boy bands were so awful. Putting up with them in the 90s was the worst. With that in mind, the Backstreet Boys' signature hit, I Want It That Way, is something I will gladly admit to finding enjoyable, and something I will gladly sing along to when I hear it. The production isn't over the top, and the singing actually sounds pretty smooth. It's a perfectly enjoyable pop song, and despite one of my least favorite songwriters in the world having this to his name, I take it as such. Number 3.
Say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Better say my name.
Of course, now that we've talked about a boy band, let's now talk about a girl band. I've never really cared for Beyonce, and I've always found her to be one of the most overrated, if not the most overrated, person in the music industry today. But like I said about Wake Me Up Before You Go, Say My Name is also one of the catchiest fucking songs ever. The vocals are really well executed with some really great rhythms, and the subject of suspicion of cheating is tackled pretty well. The beat is great too. It gets me to groove along, and it gets the song stuck in my head for the rest of the day. If that's the goal of pop songwriters, the 7 writers here have succeeded. Great job, guys and gals. Number 2.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas. Get down, girl, go ahead, get down.
Now here's where I know some eyebrows are gonna raise. As you guys know, I'm very open about the fact that I despise Kanye West. He's done some pretty douchey things and said some really douchey stuff over the years outside of his music, which I do not care for. But despite all that, Gold Digger is a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't exactly have a good reason as to why that is. The song is more of an inside joke with myself, my brother, and his friends, since it always seems to come on my friend's iPod. I don't know, maybe I just like laughing at Jamie Foxx's vocals, maybe I find the chorus funny for some reason, but the reason Gold Digger is so high on this list is because of my disliking of Kanye as a person and as a musician. But Shades, if you hate Kanye so much, why isn't he number 1 on this list? You will see why in just a little bit. And my number 1 guilty pleasure in music is yes indeed, Path of Totality Korn featuring Skrillex. Now why is this my biggest guilty pleasure? Is it because of Korn? Hell no, I love Korn. But I've never been the biggest fan of dubstep, especially Skrillex's brand. But the dubstep in Get Up doesn't drown out Korn's parts. The song still has a nice vocal performance from Jonathan Davis and some pretty decent riffs. I'd be lying if I said I didn't bang along to the opening riff. Another reason why this song is a guilty pleasure is that apart from me not listening to much of Korn's albums past Untouchables, Path of Totality is not an album people have the nicest of things to say about. I'm not a fan of the album myself, but Get Up is a damn cool song, even with dubstep parts, thus making it my biggest guilty pleasure in music. Hope you enjoyed this video. What are some of your biggest guilty pleasures? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I will see you next time.